Okay, boys and girls, when you start your Sugar Skull project today, you're going to open up an app called Assembly app. So the Assembly app on your iPad looks like a little blue, green, yellow app. You're going to click on that first to start. And in the home screen here, you will find a whole bunch of projects from other students. We don't want to click on any of these. We're only going to click on the project that has the blank skull. So if you see one that already has some shapes on it, don't click on that one, just click on the blank one. You click on it once, and then you click the orange button that says open. Now within the project here, you can zoom in and out with your fingers on the screen, and that will make the skull bigger or smaller so you can see different parts. You need to use 2 fingers to zoom in, 2 fingers to zoom out, and you can even move the skull around. So I would start with it zoomed out, and then just experiment with looking at some of the shapes. So if you click this little arrow here, it will bring up all of the shapes that you can use, and you can scroll left to right to see more shapes and lines that you can use to create patterns. So our goal today is really to create many patterns on the Sugar Skull using bright colors, and we're going to be talking about symmetry. Now symmetry means whatever I do on one side of the skull, I have to do on the other side. Symmetry means the same on both sides. So if I was going to add a star on the left side of the skull above the eye, and the star was facing up, that means I have to copy the same star to the other side of the skull above the eye facing up. So how to copy this shape is very simple. I just go to this double square button, and that will copy the same shape twice, and I can scoot it over to the other side and line it up where I think it goes. Now this so far is symmetrical, same shapes on both sides. I have to make sure the more shapes I add to this side, I'm doing the same to this side. Imagine there is kind of like an imaginary line cutting the skull down the middle, and whatever you do to one side, you should do to the other. So now let's talk about some fancy features. I can change the color of these shapes by clicking on the shape, and then I'm going to go to the little color circle here, and that will bring up a whole color wheel. The outside circle here will change just the basic color from the colors of the rainbow. The inside circle will change that color that I chose from light to dark to very, very bright. So whatever color I choose, let's say I chose a pink star, and I don't really like that dark pink. Maybe I want to bring it up to like a lighter pink. I'm going to bring it to the white side. If I want it to be darker, I'll bring it to the black side. So once I've got it, I'm just going to click off of the color menu, and I can put that little arrow down. So let's go back and try that again. I'm going to click on the star, click on my color, and when I don't want this menu anymore, I go to that little arrow and it hides the menu for me. Now I can also change the size of this shape. Go to the little white circle and pull it out and pull it in, and that will change the size of the shape. I can even change the direction. If I rotate that circle around in a circle, it will change the direction of that star. So if I change that star to be a bright light pink that is upside down now, then I'm going to go back and click on this star and delete it. There's a little trash button right here that will allow me to get rid of a shape. Then I can go click back on this shape, click the double square, and it will copy that shape, and I can move it over and line it up. So far this is pretty symmetrical. Do you see that orange line down the center of the skull? That will help me make sure that I am staying symmetrical. That kind of pops up when I highlight a shape and I move it around, just to help me see the lines of my shape and where everything lines up. Okay, so let's talk about some other shapes, what I can do to get a little bit more fancy with my design. I can layer shapes on top of other shapes. So layering just means taking a shape and moving it over so that it's on top of another shape. This is a great way to be able to get many, many shapes within your design, to layer the shapes. So I'm going to layer that shape, and then maybe I'll layer a circle shape on the inside, but I want to make it smaller and change the color. So I'm going to change the color of that on the color menu, move it over and line it up. And if I like it, then I have to copy this to the other side. So click on it again, that circle, click the double square, move it over, line it up, click the small circle, double square, move it over and line it up. So this is looking pretty neat so far. I'm going to click this button down, this arrow here, to push the shapes down, and I'm going to zoom out so I can see it. Looking pretty good, but I really want to add more patterns to this. The style of Sugar Skulls is bright colors, many, many patterns, and usually symmetrical balance. So I'm going to keep adding to this. And I'm going to set a goal for myself. My goal is to make sure with my partner, I have at least 15 different types of shape patterns. So when I repeat that star, that's a pattern. When I repeat that circle, that's a pattern. I'm going to use this triangle now and repeat this, but what I'm going to do with this triangle is I'm going to repeat this triangle 3 times instead of 2. So I'm going to click on that triangle, click on the double square, twist it around, and I'm actually going to repeat this around in a circle. So that means I have to rotate my triangles around and line them up, and then I'm going to repeat them over here. So click on that one, repeat, and then line them up. Now I'm trying my best to keep this symmetrical, but that's not perfect. If my triangle is a little bit off, that's okay, as long as I'm trying my best to keep it mostly symmetrical. That's my goal. So I can see here already I need to move this triangle down a bit, maybe make it a tiny bit smaller. I think it got a little bit too big. So zooming in will really help you see this. Use your 2 fingers to zoom in to see if everything's symmetrical, and then zoom out, and then you can zoom back in. Okay, once you're finished with your sugar skull with your partner, this menu up here will take you back to the beginning, and you click My Work, and you will see it there. It will save automatically, and we will work on these next week, and we will print them if we don't finish them today. All right, let's get started.